Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going into Game Week 19. We're nearly halfway through the FPL season, so hopefully you are still enjoying it. If you are any new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're closing in on 300 subscribers, which for a small channel trying to grow would be a really cool milestone. So if you can help with that, it would be appreciated. And thanks to everyone who supported the channel so far. It honestly does make a massive difference. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to take a quick review of how my team did in Game Week 18. Then we're going to talk team selection, transfer advice, and captaincy thoughts moving forward. So let's take a look at how the team did. And we're going to start with the keepers. And Raya did keep that clean sheet. We were talking in recent videos about how Arsenal did need to start keeping clean sheets for him to be worth the price. And we were hoping for Ipswich at home to be the perfect point to do that. And it proved to be the case as well. So 6 points from the keeper is always welcome no matter who they are. On the defence, we did do all right. Colwell got an assist. He passed the ball to Palmer in the middle of the pitch, and then Palmer ran through the entire Fulham team and scored. So we'll take the points where they come from. And Lewis Hall kept his third clean sheet in 3 games as well. Robinson with only 1 point, but for the players that we've got, especially for the price we got them in at, Robinson and Hall especially have moved up in price a lot, but we got them in super cheap. We've had Robinson since the very first game week of the season. I'm really happy with how they're doing. I don't need to make any other changes in defence for the foreseeable future, just because the fixtures are also looking pretty good. Into midfield, and Bruno got a -2, and that pretty much resulted in a red arrow for us this game week. It's our first red arrow in 6 game weeks. We're on a really good run, but it's not quite a red arrow because we only went down 7,000 places overall. It's like the greyest of grey arrows. And if I'd gone up 7k, I'd be saying the same thing. But it really is the difference between Bruno getting sent off and not. He didn't even need to get an attacking return. Just don't get sent off. Get 1 point, and that would be 3 points difference in my score. And it probably would have resulted in a really small green arrow. So I'm not too fussed with having a red arrow this game week, just because of the progress we've made in recent game weeks and how the team is set up for the future. The rest of the midfield did really well. We were right to captain Salah. Yeah, Palmer scored 1 extra point or 2 extra points if you'd have captained him. But it just wasn't worth the risk because so many people were going against players like Palmer, and just having Salah as their captain. In terms of overall rank, it was the right decision to do. Maybe a bit safe, but that's how we want to play it at the moment. But Palmer and Bowen both got attacking returns as well, and some bonus points to go with it. Up front, wasn't the best showing. Jackson hasn't scored in a few game weeks now. He's not someone that I'm looking at taking out, but given that Chelsea's in the middle of this amazing run that we all banged on about, you would be expecting for some attacking returns at some point if possible. Alexander Isak is another player we got in on early, and I think we got him at 8.4 million. He's got 10 goals in his last 10 games, and we've been owning him for most of that. And it's good to know that, when we were talking a few videos ago, probably a couple of months ago now, about how Newcastle probably will come good at some point, given the lack of fixture congestion, when other teams at this stage will be becoming more and more fatigued. It will make the difference, and that just goes to show that, we're doing well with the picks moving forward. Having said that, Gabriel Jesus was our fun transfer in this game week because we did have 5 free transfers and needed to use one. We ended up using 2 by dropping Leif Davis to Bednarek in order to afford to get Gabriel Jesus in against Ipswich at home. We just didn't have too many opportunities. It would have been nice to get an attacking return, but it's one of those picks where, I'm happy to keep him now for the next few game weeks, given that Arsenal do have some good fixtures coming up and Saka is out for the long term. There is more minutes to go around for someone like Jesus. So onto the fixtures for this game week, and it's a bit of an interesting one if you're able to keep track of what day of the week it is at the moment in that crazy, run of days between Christmas and New Year. The deadline is Sunday at 1 o'clock, which is a bit of a random one, but we've got to just go with it. In terms of captaincy, I'm going to be captaining Cole Palmer this game week. I don't really see a need to overthink it again. It's a bit boring, but that's why you've got players like Palmer and Salah in, is because they are your captaincy options, especially when the fixture looks as good as Ipswich away. Now, you could captain Salah as well. You're really banking on the form there, because whilst West Ham aren't great, West Ham away is a lot tougher than Ipswich away on paper. If I still owned Haaland, I'd probably be captaining him this game week. I think Leicester, they're still one of the worst for shots, conceded from open play. And if you've stuck with Haaland for this long and you're an active manager, I do think that this is the sort of fixture you've kept him for. So if you're willing to commit to someone like Haaland, you might as well go all in and captain him and go for that differential pick, which is what he is at the moment. I think he's about 35% owned. So among active managers, that is really low as well. So I would just go for it with Haaland. But like I say, if you don't own Haaland, Palmer is the obvious choice. So the team for this game week is looking pretty good. Again, we do have some tough fixtures in there, and we are going to talk transfers in a little bit. But I'm not planning on transferring out Bruno. He's got some good fixtures coming up. Sure, he's got Newcastle and then Liverpool, but then the fixtures do turn into some quite nice games. And he's the sort of player who I would want when that happens. The players that I'm looking at transferring out are those mid-price players who you get in your team for the good run of fixtures. They score points, and then you maybe hang on to them for too long because you think, oh, they've scored points, I don't want to take them out at this stage. But a lot of FPL is about predicting where points are going to come from next. So if you've got a player in your team who scored quite well, but the fixtures are turning, that'd be the sort of player I'd be advising to transfer out. So with that in mind, we have got 4 free transfers still, no money in the bank. But the first transfer I'm looking at is Bowen to Iwobi. Now, Bowen has Liverpool, Man City, Fulham and Palace. They're not easy fixtures, but after that, he's also got Villa and Chelsea away from home. So whilst he's got 4 attacking returns in his last 4 and he's done really well for me, he was supposed to do well for me because I got him in for those fixtures. So the plan is something that I want to stick to, is to take him out now. Iwobi looked really direct against Chelsea. He was such a key part of everything Fulham were doing moving forward. And he's got Ipswich and Leicester in the next 4. So I'm happy to sort of make that transfer. There's not really many midfielders that stand out to me at this stage. A bit like the mid-price strikers. It's a lot of just general the same players. So the difference is made with the fixtures. So I'm happy to go from Bowen to Iwobi. And the second transfer I'm looking at is Semenyo to Sarr. Now, with no money in the bank, I can't just do Semenyo to Sarr or Semenyo to Iwobi anyway. But Bournemouth's fixtures don't look good either. They've got that Fulham game away from home and then Everton. And then they've got Chelsea and Newcastle both away. And in that meantime, whilst you might say, oh, Semenyo's got Fulham, it's not bad, Sarr has Southampton at home, which we've talked about being a fixture that we do want to target. So that's why I want to make the moves now. A player like Bowen, West Ham just aren't scoring that many goals. Yeah, when they do score, he's usually involved. But how many goals are they realistically going to get in the next 2 game weeks? Iwobi with Bournemouth and Ipswich both at home. They're really good fixtures for him. So let me know in the comments what you think about these transfers. Let me know if there's anyone else you think I should be transferring out. It will also give me 1.4 million in the bank. And I kind of need to move away from this thinking of I always want to have 5 free transfers, in reserve ready to use for a mini wildcard. Because in any other season, 2 free transfers in the max is the maximum you'd have. Well, after making these moves, I'd still have 2 free transfers left in reserve, and next game week that'd go up to 3. So I'd be pretty much there again, and I kind of want to be flexible and make the moves proactively. Whilst my players have done well, I want to look for those next players coming up. So likewise, let me know if you've got any transfer questions as well. Pop them in the comments. Please do subscribe. Go check out our latest wildcard video as well. The link should be on the screen right about now. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.